Hello YouTube and welcome back to Fire Gaming Project. So in this short video, I'm going to do a Keqing review, and the reason why is because she is technically on the current, well, she's not technically, she is on the current Moonlight Merriment and Moonchase Festival event, and it's for the anniversary of Genshin Impact as well. Also technically, she did have a banner, a special banner one time, right before Hu Tao's originally, for those of you who remember, around 1.3. And 1.3, I think, yeah. And she technically could be up for a rerun as well. Now, I honestly do not think that that's the case because her banner did not sell well, especially because she is actually available on the standard banner. And also, if you lose 50/50, she is one of the possibilities that you would get. Now, I do not feel that MiHoYo would use her banner as a rerun again, but you never know. You never know, right? So I'm technically throwing that out there. But anyway, for the purpose of this review, if you think about it, she was the original and only 5-star Electro character before we got to Inazuma with Raiden Shogun now in 2.1. So technically, she is still the standard Electro Queen. So here we go. Here's the setup. So I did not level her up to 90 yet because I actually stopped using her. I only started using her a lot more before Raiden Shogun's release. So basically in 2.0 and maybe even parts of 1.6. So that's why she's only level 80 out of 90. Many of my characters are, in this case, 80 out of 90 only, or 70 out of 80 for some of the 4-stars. That's just because of resources, It's still viable, so let's not go too finicky here. I mean, I am not a mega whale, or I can just I talked about this too in my resin refresh video and also my recent updates, my recent videos as well. I stopped resin refreshing every day and I don't do the maximum 6 times, which is 800 Genesis crystals / Primogems. I only do maybe 1 or 2 a day and sometimes 0 now. And I don't even, it's because I focus more on doing video content now, and also the game in a way is burning me out. I think, and I talked about that in my burnout video recently as well. Anyway, crit rate. She is at 50.9%, which is okay. Her crit damage is 117. The healing is only because of her. There's 2 Hydro characters on this team right now, so that's not from her. Energy recharge 121. She doesn't have energy issues, but of course, the more energy, the faster she gets back her skills and her ult. Electro damage 61. And physical damage 41. Now, there's always a long-standing debate, should you build her as Electro or Physical? Electro or Physical? I will just make it clear here, I think you should just build her based on what you have at your disposal, okay? So I mean, if you want to go and farm for Electro artifact pieces, go do that, because I did do that. That's why mine is more focused on Electro. But originally, when I was not using her, I set her up with Physical, and I just gave her like whatever leftover pieces I had. So like Gladiators and Noblesse and Bloodstain. This is before Pale Flame became available, right? So that's what I had on her. But then I, of course, later on, as we were going towards Inazuma, and I kind of mentioned this in my really early videos, but then I think I also deleted a lot of those, is that as we were going to Inazuma and we knew that Electro was going to be a big thing, I wanted to level up my Electro characters, so I was farming lots of Electro artifacts. So that's why I switched out some of her pieces. Okay. Weapons. Now, here's the thing. This is what's giving her the physical damage because I gave her the Aquila. This one I got, and I talked about this in my 5-star video, 5-star weapons video. Should you refine them or not? Check it out, please. So here, I got this on a standard banner, or I got it as a rate up 50/50 loss, not for the one that I wanted, or I got it as a loss 50/50 not rated up. And regardless, I just got 1 copy, so I gave it to her. Prior to this, she was using the Black Sword, which I now gave to Kaya, as you can see on the screen. And prior to this current patch, I think this was only at R2. So, yeah, basically, I mean, because then she can heal a little bit for herself. That's why I wanted this to her. I prefer Jean over her. That's why Jean got the Primordial J Cutter, which I got early on from the Xiao banner way back then. So I am not pulling on the current Kokomi banner for this. But, yeah. So anyway, I gave her the Aquila, and originally I had played around with giving the Aquila to Bennett, but I prefer Bennett with more energy, actually, because I want him to slam down his ult more often, and also get more energy back for his elemental skill to then buff my team, etc., etc., etc. So then, like, I gave her the Aquila, and I'm okay with that. So in my case, she's kind of an Electro and Physical build hybrid. Okay. Other weapons that are good for her, of course, are the Primordial J Cutter, the Black Sword. The Black Cliff Longsword is okay too, okay, because crit damage is not bad here, and she should be able to kill them fast. If you want to do like craftables, then yes, the Amanoma is okay because it has a energy recharge type of passive. She does not need energy recharge, so I would just skip the Favonius and the Sacrificial altogether. She could do well with Prototype Rancor as well. And the other one of the best ones that people liked originally for her was the Lion's Roar, because it gives you the increased damage against enemies affected by Pyro or Electro by 36%. So that's always solid, okay? So this is good too. And I started leveling it up prior to going to Inazuma, so I'm 1.6. But as you can see, I stopped at level 21 because obviously I got the Aquila at some point, or I got maybe this. What happened was I had this on him, and then I swapped because I gave him an attack buff, and then he attack buffs obviously the team based on his attack. But then I got the Skyward Blade, and I got another one, etc., etc. I talk about that in my should you refine your 5-star weapons. So then I swapped them around, and then that's why she ended up with this, and therefore I didn't bother with this anymore. So that's my story there. Artifact-wise, as you can see, I have left 2 pieces of Gladiator on her, but I did get her 2-piece Thundering Fury. And with Thundering Fury, let's start there. The 4-piece bonus does increase her elemental reaction damage for Overload, Electrocharge, Superconduct, etc., etc. Now, I will say, because she needs to be on field, so unless you have those other characters deploying those things, such as Fischl's Oz, Shangling's Pyronado, or Xingqiu's water swords, rain swords, right? Like that's only specifically if you're pairing her up with those deployable skills that can proc those elemental reactions. So I didn't bother with that because that way she's not always having to be on those teams, right? That's just up to you, okay? You can switch it around. So these are the pieces that I got for her. They're not the best, of course, by any means, but I attack Sands, Electro Goblet, and crit rate piece. Because she levels up, I believe, with crit damage, I believe, yes. Her Ascension skill is a crit damage, so I wanted to offset it with crit rate. And because this one I didn't give her crit rate or crit damage, so so that's why. Constellation, I will be honest, I did pull on her original banner back in 1.3 because I wanted 1 copy of her. That is the honest truth. I'm one of the rare people that did pull on her thing, and that's kind of been my thing. I collect characters. So I didn't have her back then, so I did pull her at C0. Now, since then, unfortunately, and I kind of should not then have pulled her on her banner, but whatever. Thereafter, as you can see, I've lost the 50-50 and or gotten her from the standard banner, so that's why I now have her at C2. Constellation-wise, you don't need her at any constellation, just like most of the 5 stars, but it's always a nice to have. So C1 gives her her stiletto, which is her elemental skill, her E. It gives her causes her Keqing to deal 50% of her attack as electro AoE. Okay, and then this one basically, if the enemy is affected by electro, they have another 50% chance of getting elemental particles. So it's for energy recharge. And then this is +3. C4, for 10 seconds after she triggers any elemental reaction for electro, her attack is increased. That's okay. And then C5 is +3 levels. And then C6, when initiating a normal attack, a charge attack, elemental skill, or elemental burst, she will gain another 6% of elemental damage, electro damage bonus for 8 seconds. And the effects triggered by normal attacks, charge attacks, elemental skills, and elemental bursts are considered independent entities. So I guess that means that they're independently calculated. So again, none of these are required, but if you were trying to go for constellations, and if in an off case she was somehow rerun on a banner, which I don't anticipate, and you wanted constellations, where should you stop? You can stop her at C0, quite honestly, but if you really wanted to, you could go for her C1, because it gives an extra 50% damage from her elemental skill, and it's AoE Electro, so that's not bad. I don't think you need C2, it's just a nice to have quality of life thing. If you really wanted to, because maybe you lost the 50-50 or on the standard banner you got her multiple times already and you're close to C4, maybe you get a C4 because her attack will be increased by 25%, making her much more of a stronger DPS. Because of her electro element as well, she is one of the weaker DPSs, and also her multipliers are also weaker. Does not mean that she's a bad character, she's very fluid and easy to use, and I like using her. Talent-wise, I just gave her 888, as you can see. Would I crown this character? No. Would I go further to make it level 9? Maybe. But she's not a priority, I'll tell you that right now. Again, now that I have Raiden Shogun, and many of you have Raiden Shogun is the highest selling banner of all time, to date. Pretty sure, all of our resources are going there. So, for Electro, I mean. right? Although they don't use exactly the same resources, but you know what I mean, right? You know, like, or if we're going to focus on building a 5-star Electro character, it's going to be the actual Archon, goddess, god, Raiden Shogun herself, obviously, right? You know, but regardless, Keqing is still a very solid standard Electro queen in her own right. So that's what this review is all about. Okay, so on her team, and I'm going to fight the Pyro Flower. So then on her team here, I just gave her Official to give her some resonance, and also to, you know, to have the Hydro characters to break the shield. So here we go. Okay, here we go. Perfect. I'm just going to throw out Official's Bird, and then we're going to do this. So it's pretty solid damage. It's still pretty solid damage if you think about it. Yeah, and there we go. So in that case, the water did a thought, but then as you can see, she consistently was able to proc the Electro charged and some overload because the flower is a fire flower after all, right? You know, so it was quite good. I would say she's still a very solid character. I like this character, and definitely I support this character. And I know there's lots of Keqing mains out there, so you know, good for you guys. So this was meant to be a really quick video, and I'm sure many of you guys already like this character and already know about this character, so I will leave it at that. If you guys like my content, please subscribe, like, comment, ask me questions, share this video, check out my other videos, and I'll see you in the next one. The next video is going to be talking about Kokomi and my current status with her. So check that out too. Thanks.